We're gonna go float Henry's Fork. Get some bugs down there, and hopefully it gets pretty warm, so we can maybe find a few Salmonflys. Have you heard about any Salmonflys yet? No. Justin said they were crawling, but we'll see, and just go ahead and try to find a few. The average depth that we're gonna fish today is more of the trouty water, which is your waist deep. In this stretch, your waist deep water or shallower is where you find most of your trout. Especially if we'll find a lot more brown trout in the much shallower stuff. So that's our setup. So we have our indicator tied off a 30-pound Maxima on a loop. So that's a loop knot. That way this indicator can move around. Tied 90 degrees off the 30-pound. And that goes 3x to our first split shot, where we have a knot right there with 3x tied below it to our first fly. And after our first fly is tied on, which is a jig, we have 4x down to our smaller fly, which the reason we fish 4x a little lighter, so that that smaller fly has a lot more movement. Kind of clinch knot, improved clinch. A lot of guys will just fish a standard clinch. Get your knot wet, slide it down, clip your tag in. So pretty much now all we're gonna do is make sure all our rods are set up and ready and everything's in the boat, and we'll put the boat in here in just a second. Eat the food, Tina. Eat the food. Right here, there he is. It's springtime, we got a little bit of colored water. On the other side, you can see where the warm river comes in. The water's much clearer, so we'll fish a lot of that side until the whole river mixes. Fish will definitely stack where some clearer water is. Now, you're gonna be doing a basic roll cast, going straight upstream, maybe a little bit out, about 2 rod lengths off. As the indicator comes down to you, you're gonna strip and pick up some of that slack in case you get bit high in your drift. Now from here, I need to mend or reposition my line. So a proper mend is lifting the line out of the water first, then moving it in a direction to help you create a drag-free drift. Sometimes that means downstream. It just depends on what the current is doing with your line in that moment. There's many times where you might throw an upstream mend, and you do that, and it creates drag on your fly or your indicator. So you might have to mend back downstream to keep it moving naturally. It's very important. It's whatever it takes to create a drag-free drift. You know, it's not always upstream. It's not, always downstream. It's a mix depending on what is going on with your indicator. Upstream, strip as it comes down. I'm fishing. My line's pinched on my finger at all times. That way I can set the hook on a tight line whenever I want to. Here I can mend, reposition my line, get the extra couple feet out of my drift. Once my line comes tight, my drift is over. Fish are not going to eat it, typically when it's swinging. If they do, they usually think it's an emerging fly. But then we just cast again. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is creating muscle memory for about the first hour. Just going through the routines. Catching fish here is pretty simple. As long as you get the muscle memory down to repeat it over and over, then you progressively get better and better, catch more fish throughout the day. Got a coyote head.
No way. Check this out. Oh my gosh.
Someone found a coyote skull.
Wow.
that? That's a coyote skull. Or maybe even a fox. It might be a fox too.
Look at those teeth.
That's gnarly.
Are you keeping it?
Heck yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's incredible.
That's pretty cool. Got Rainbow, we're just practicing casting.
Good words from Jerry. Practice on your casting, don't practice on your fish. The more you try to practice catching a fish, it's not going to catch any, because that was the second. The second I focused on casting, he's right.
So this fish might have got hit by osprey or something, because there's a big sore on his side. Right here. Or maybe he got hooked there, foul hooked. Oop. See ya.
Move this out here, handling the clacker.
This thing's a lot of fun to row. I'm relatively new to rowing, so to speak, or at least I don't have my own, but I've had a couple boats out. This one rows a lot easier than all of them. What's that?
Rainbow trout. Brought to you by Department of Fish and Wildlife, Idaho Division. There's Salmonfly right behind you. Oh, I got him.
Look! Oh my gosh.
Here we go. This is what we're switching over to. This is an adult Salmonfly. We're at the, like I was saying, we're at the hottest part of the day. You ready for that?
You just got that?
Well, he flew out of the tree. There's another one.
There's another one?
But there you go. It's the adult Salmonfly.
Wow.
That's that nymph we just caught, and that's the adult.
So how long do you think that thing has been adult?
Oh, probably just a day
Really?
or two. You know, we just came out of some colder weather.
So I'm
We're
seeing them
coming
all-
into the warmer time, so
Yeah.
the fish, they're going to start hatching a lot faster.
So now we're basically walking in to the hatch, right?
Yeah, we're fishing
So-
our way in. So this is probably a female, being that
Yeah.
she's so big. She doesn't like me messing with her. But
Yeah.
they're called a Salmonfly. See that salmon orange bottom there?
Wow. Now,
That's one of the biggest. That is the biggest food source in the river, other than other fish. And then here's the fly that we're going to imitate it with. Orange on the bottom, orange on the bottom, rubber legs, big wing. So now you know it's going to be really good when you catch one of these. And watch.
the wings.
You don't have to. I'm not going to rip his wings off.
Oh.
But something you can. Throw him in the water, and if he gets bit, you know, within sight,
Yeah.
it's going to get real.
It's good.
So let's see. So he's gonna flutter like that, and all that fluttering attracts the fish, right? Everything he can, not go towards. He doesn't want to go towards the big bright light, right? That big sun and thing in the sky. He's gonna do everything in his possibilities. But you'll fight a lot less, and you'll keep a lot more fish on. You know, with yeah, just give it back.
We're staying at the beautiful Golden Stone Inn and fishing on the Henry's Fork in Idaho, just across the border here, proved to be really quality fishing and actually cheaper licenses. So for me, that's a good factor. And got out there, and I basically had to forget everything I knew about fly fishing and relearn. So the first, like I'd say even hour of the float was pretty rough. You know, I did like hook a fish or two, but it was changing up my form and learning how to, you know, present that double rig with the indicator and little split shot and stuff. It was different. So it was a learning curve. I was figuring out how to pick it up, put it down. And so for the first hour, I wouldn't say frustrated, because it's fishing, it's always fun, but it certainly was more work than I thought it would be. But once I got in the swing of things, all of a sudden, it's like we'd get into these holes and just start railing fish in these certain flats and riffles and chops. And we did decide to switch to dry flies, and right before we did that, I made a final cast with that rig, and I got my first brown trout that I've ever gotten, which I thought was just amazing, just a beautiful fish. And it did dig and run really good. It had a nice burst of energy, good burst of speed. It felt really good to me, that fish. And I'm excited. We're gonna go actually down lower in the river now. Really exciting, fly fishing this way. it really is like a numbers fishery, and it's not that there is a difficulty to the fishery itself other than the subtleties that you learn as a guide, you know, like that Jared picks up. But you have to be in the rhythm, and you have to be getting it consistently into the right water and presenting it properly, and then once that happens, it's game on. So really exciting stuff. I can't wait for today. Finally got a good night's rest, and I finally feel like I can put in a full day's worth of quality fishing. So that's what we're gonna do today. So also the wonderful folks over at the Big Sky Anglers fly shop texted Jared, and apparently someone found my wallet and brought it in to the fly shop. So shout out to whoever you are. You are a saint and an angel, gentleman and a scholar, and there's not many of us left. So Big Sky Anglers, Idaho fishing, Montana, get your together and start charging less for licenses, and maybe we'll come fish your waters, all right? It's a little lesson in economics for you state fisheries departments. Anyway, let's go get them. Idaho, Henry's Fork, day 2.
So I'm picking out some more of those quills. They've got some in the shop here. We got some stuff I don't really tie. This is a red one. It's a great kind of small mayfly PMD. Red fishes really well for a PMD emerger and for just a zebra, red zebra. 14s and 16s. These fish moved back in after we rode the boat right over that. We've been here like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna lower my rod and try to guide him right up along the boat and get him just above me with a real low rod tip there. Once he gets up a little higher, and then I'll try to lift right here, right to the surface. There we go. That's when it's nice to have a long net. It's a cool styled caddis. It's on a jig.
This is another one of those stalkers that made it through the water.
I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna put on your point fly as going to be a stonefly. We're just probably a week and a half or 10 days just before the stonefly hatch, big salmon flies. So what happens when you're just before the hatch, these stoneflies, they migrate and crawl along bottom, and they work their way to the shoreline when they crawl out to hatch. So it takes them a little while to move their way to the shoreline. They get knocked off the rocks much more easy. So they're just out and about, getting pushed off, tumbling until they make it to the shoreline, and they'll wait until the water temperatures are right to emerge. So just a few more available. It's definitely a bigger trout type of fly this time of year, but you can fish them all year long. Now some of you need to end up staying in one spot.
Oh, fish
There you
on.
go.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Let's go. Anything
Wow.
can happen.
No coaching needed.
Nope.
On your own.